incredible how anybody could mistake that. But
sometimes you have those that, you sit up and say that there is no more, what do you call it?
No more justice?
No. When they profiling.
Yeah.
You're still saying there's no profiling, but it is. It is. We're being hunted every day. It's a silent war against African American people as a whole.
And so, it's sad to say. I mean, we think we're in a land of plenty, freedom and things like that.
We're never free.
And so what does justice look like for you in that case?
Well, right about now, it's not looking too good because I'm not getting the answers that I'm asking for. And like I said, they did not even let me see my son to identify him.
Yeah.
I have to wait until tomorrow,
well,
after an autopsy.
Yeah, and she may be, they might even not let her come to see him right away, today.
They don't know anything. They don't know who the BCA investigators are. They don't know who the medical examiner is going to be. They don't know what's the name of the police officers that were involved in the shooting. They're telling me that they don't know anything, so I don't know anything.
Well, what we do know is Philando's dead. That's what we know.
What we know. I would never see my son again.
We hear your frustration.
I'm hyped up. Absolutely. I'm outraged. And anybody that saw that video, they should be outraged too.
And millions have seen it already. So it can't be hidden. Diamond posted that on Facebook, live streamed it. An hour later, it was taken down.
Luckily, other people shared it and saved it.
WCCO got a hold of the video and sent it to New York, and
yes.
it went from there.
It has gone viral, and millions of
guys.
people, absolutely, millions of people have seen it. Millions of people are seeing it this morning. But you both are so reasonable. You're not asking for much other than your questions to be answered and for justice. But is it just if let's say that this police officer were fired from the force, is that justice? Is that it?
No. Jail time. Jail time.
No.
Jail time. No. Jail time.
I'm sure there's protocol and everything, and if a layman like myself, if I shoot somebody, I'm going to be prosecuted.
That's it.
He needs to be prosecuted. Because of that video. See, because she shot that video, they can't cut it. They can't edit it. It's not grainy. You can see and hear her talking about everything that happened in that situation. And all I'm saying is these police officers need to be held accountable for their wrongdoing.
That's
if you
right.
made a mistake, you made a mistake, and you need to suffer the consequences. Because it happened to me, it can happen to you. We need checks and balances.
We always say, every time something like this happens, we say it's got to stop. When is it going to stop? What do we got to do to make it stop? What do we got to do? Will it get worse before it gets better? I mean, we need some help. We need some help down here.
We need checks and balances. If I can be held accountable for what I do, these officers should too. And I believe because everyone's getting acquitted, it's like open season. Okay, I can shoot him, and I'll get acquitted. I'll get my money every day like I'm working.
What do they do? Yeah, put him on paid leave.
Yeah.
You can't work, but you can still get money.
I mean, and so when you talk about the injustice that you feel in your community and that you've long felt, even before this, and that you feel for the black community, do you want to hear the presidential candidates talk about this? Do you want this on a national stage to be addressed?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It needs to be addressed. Because, like I said, if there's no checks and balances, then we gotta have chaos. It'll be chaos. If you don't hold people accountable for what they do, then they feel like they can just do anything, so then we're out of control. The nation will be out of control.
What do you want your leaders to do?
I want my leaders to step up and hold these people accountable. That's it. Accountability. Everybody needs to be be held accountable.
Yeah. Valerie Castillo.
It's no, okay, because he's a police officer, he get a pass. You know what I'm saying? But then if I do it, I'm going to jail.
We hear you.
No, that's not right.
No one can disagree with that. We hear you, Valerie Castillo and Clarence Castillo. We're so sorry that you're enduring this morning. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your strong feelings about this. And we hope you get information today. We will check back in with you tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, my God, is there no help for the widow's son? We got to hang on by the strong grip of the lion's paw.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo and Mrs. Castillo. We will check back in with you, and we pray that you get some answers today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to share that a little bit with you. 1920. May I say, 1920 versus 2020. I mean, where are we at? I mean, literally speaking, where are we at? I mean, when is enough enough? You heard I had to play that because it brings us right back to the same door. We at the same door. Every year we knocking on the same door. When is enough enough? When are black people going to get tired? When are we going to say, this is it? We're not taking no more. I mean, for those of us who are Christians and Muslims and of various faiths, and we follow these leaders and those leaders, where are they at? This is where I'm at today. I mean, I'm at a point in my life, being a Mason and enjoying the fellowship of the brotherhood and being around various brothers from various jurisdictions. I'm at a point to where you just have to say enough is enough. Stop. Just pause. And if your leaders don't have the backbone enough, if they don't have the stamina enough and the fortitude enough to really stand up for the good of humanity, you're following the wrong person. That's just what it is. You are following the wrong person. So tonight, we're just going to talk a little bit about 1920 versus 2020. How far have we really come? Somebody need to help me out tonight. If you want to call into the show, you're certainly welcome to do so, and we can have this conversation. But really, how far have we really come? I'm asking because I have my own personal opinion. But what I'm looking for is those like-minded people. Those who may not necessarily agree with everything I say, but may be able to shed some light that I'm not able to shed. So I want to hear from you. See, I was born in the 60s. All right? Anyone who was born after 1970, you're the first generation freed black people. When I say first generation free, that is simply to say that you was born under no strict rules or regulations to hold you back. There was no Jim Crow laws. There was no boy, where your papers, and that was none of that during that time. However, covertly speaking, you couldn't necessarily be cut out. And when I say cut out, that's simply, I'm saying that you had to be home by a certain time. I'm quite sure if you was of that age to where your parents told you, look, when them lights come on, you need to be at the house. You know exactly what I'm saying. So don't look at me and say, well, what are you talking? No. You've heard the saying before. Why did our parents say, look, you need to be at home before the lights come on? Why do you think they said that? And not only that, when you look at the 1920s, the Renaissance years, those years where black people were so-called thriving, and compared to 2020, where black people have millionaires and billionaires, we damn near in the same boat. We are. Masonically speaking, We're almost in the same boat, if not the same boat. We still, as Masons, haven't stepped up to we haven't stepped up to the plate as Masons. We have not. Let's just be honest. We have not. And when I say we have not stepped up to the plate, we have not done what we're supposed to do as Masons within our own framework. And when I say our own framework, we have not built the bridge to show the power that we could have. We have not done that. We have refused to do that with people who look like me. And are we still in 1920 or are we 2020? Somewhere along we're supposed to have progress, not regress, not took a step back, but took a step forward. Somehow we're supposed to be farther along in the relationships as Masons with the brotherhood that look like me. Somewhere we're supposed to have been farther along with the Sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star. But for some odd reason or another, we're still with a 1920 mentality. And I might even rephrase that, because in the 1920s, in those earlier years, it was something different. Those black people sought to move forward by helping one another. And now that we have progressed somewhat, and some of us are so-called moved out of what we would call the ghetto, but we still have a ghetto mentality, we still look as if we're on the same boat. We're still in the same waters. We're still doing the same old thing that we was doing in the 20s. And when I say the same old thing, once upon a time, I would say that when we had our own BET, Black Entertainment Channel, that was the catalyst for us. It was ours, owned by us, and everything, produced, whatever, it was ours. But when we get something, we always want to give it away. Somebody need to talk back to me, because I don't quite understand why we got to give everything away that we come up with. I can't get that. I'm trying to understand, how is it that we have everything that we come up with, we got to give it away. We got to sell it. We don't want to take it and pass it along to our family. You know, I'm looking at BET, who sold out to Viacom. BET had everything that we so desired. We had the news, our news. We had emails, our emails. We had it all. It was well produced, well done. But not just BET. I'm looking at those who have the wealth and the means to really make some things happen broadly, but refuse to. I'm not saying that affects a few people. I'm talking about, but affects a generation of people. Okay? I'm talking to those who have the effect to fill a church of 20,000 people. But yet, you're nowhere to be found today. I have yet heard T.J. Jakes. I have yet heard any of the white ministers that some of you may follow. I've yet to hear any of those so-called leaders, including the Black Caucus, any of them to really speak up. I've not heard any of these so-called regular grandmasters or I've yet heard, you know what? I'm going to take that back. There was one Prince Hall grandmaster that put out a statement. He just put a statement out. He put a statement out. I have to applaud him for putting a statement out. But sometimes putting a statement out, you have to do more than that. You have to be vocal about what you're saying. And our leadership, whether it be the ancient free, modern free, international, the leadership is weak. They don't want to speak out like if they're going to rock the boat. Hell, the boat has already been rocked and tipped over. We're drowning. We need some life rafts. We need somebody to throw some at us and pull us into pull us on the ship. Not just the boat, but the ship. Because right now, brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, we're in some strange territories. We are. It seems as if we're living in the 1920s, where you can shoot an unarmed black man who's running down the street minding his own business beating that bush, where you can actually pull up and ask a person, let me see your driver's license, and yes, I have a gun, and let me get my license to show you, and once I get them, you kill me on the spot? I'm legit about everything I have, but yet you shoot me down? When is enough enough? When is these so-called leaders are going to have the fortitude and balls enough to really say something? Period. I'm talking about those of the craft across the board. I'm talking about Logan from, I think, Modern Free. I think Grandmaster Supreme President, I think that's his title. I mean, come on, brothers. When is our leadership, those we elect, to say something? Because now is not the time to play, oh, I'm Mason and Mason shouldn't get involved. The hell with that. We should be involved. We shouldn't sit idly by and just say, okay, you know what? Let's just talk about the square, the compass, the level, the plumb. Let's just talk about those things that Masons talk about. No. It's time out for being asleep. It's time for you to wake up. It's time to wake the giant up. But yes, some of you love being asleep. I hope and I pray that a Grand Master from any other jurisdiction that may be watching this, wake your ass up. Period. Stop being docile and asleep. Speak out on issues that affect your community. Period. Speak out on it. Don't just sit out of the and say it's okay. It's not okay. Now, this is the strangest thing. Living in California, I've seen a protest to open the beach. I've seen a protest to open parks. People stopped traffic. They didn't look like me, but they got out, protest to open up beauty salons. They protested about barbershops and restaurants. Stop traffic. You hear me? You're not hearing what I'm saying. These people don't give a damn about you or me. All I'm saying is now watch them. Protest opening a beach, protest opening restaurants, protest opening barbershops and beauty salons. Stopping traffic. They didn't protest over the death of someone. They didn't protest over the mere fact that we are all being sucker punched. They protested over, come on now. Somebody need to help me. Are we in the 1920s or 2020? Because they damn near look alike. They almost look alike. And I'm sitting and I'm looking at the leadership of the various Masonic organizations, big or small, who is sitting idly by, not saying one word, like they're in their own little corner of the world, like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna speak on that. I'm not in my. That's in your lane. What if this gentleman who was jogging down the street was a member of your lodge, your Grand Lodge? Will you be so eager to just be quiet? In the earlier part of this video, I showed Castillo's mother and father. This shooting happens about 2 years ago. His father was a Mason. At the end of that video, he asked, is there no help for the widow's son? He asked that question. He didn't ask if there was any help for the widow's son from Modern Free International, John G. Jones, Prince Hall, PHO. He asked, was there any help for the widow's son? That man was crying. That man asked for help. And where were we? Where were we? Did you contribute to the legal defense fund? Did your Grand Lodge make a contribution? I mean, where were we when this man needed the support of the black Freemasons? And I'm saying black Freemasons because oh boy, I tell you, we some special people. And when I say special, it's just some of us is still asleep in the sense that thinking that everything is okay. Just because you're able to move in the same neighborhood that they live in, and you think it's cool, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that lives over here. You think that's safe? I'm not saying that everybody should agree with what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, when is enough in regards to leadership in the Masonic fraternity to step out and talk about some issues that affect the community for which your membership comes from? Okay? The majority of our institution, be it Modern Free International, Prince Hall, or PHO, or John G. Jones, the majority of our membership is black. So that being the case, the Grand Masters, whatever jurisdiction, you should speak out about this issue. Not just to your friends and around your boys and you pissed off and you mad. No, you should speak out publicly. You got Instagram, you got Facebook. Speak out publicly on this. Don't be afraid. Don't sit idly by and just say that it's okay. We as Masons really shouldn't speak on things like this. This is the time that we as Masons should speak on things like this. As a matter of fact, we're behind the 8 ball. Okay? We're running late. We're way behind schedule. We should have been speaking on issues that concern our community a long time ago. But yet some of these Grand Masters are too weak, too scared, too cowered down to say anything. Oh, it's going to affect your 501c. Can't say anything. Oh yeah, you non-profit, so if I say something, those who may give to my organization, they ain't going to give no more. If that is what's keeping you from speaking, you're worthless. I said it, and I'm not taking it back. If having a 50c3 or 5, whatever your non-profit status is keeping you from speaking out on issues that affect your community where your membership comes from, you're less than a Mason. And I don't give a damn what jurisdiction you come from. I said it. I said it because I'm frustrated at the mere fact that we're still doing the same thing we was doing 2 years ago. It seems like we'll wake up a little bit and we'll fall back to sleep. We'll wake up a little bit, we'll fall back to sleep. Look, we, as Costello's mother said, we're being hunted. We're being hunted. Can you see it? Oh, you don't see it. Oh, it didn't happen in my neighborhood. It didn't happen in my community. Oh, that'll never. Look, man. Who's next? Who's next? And I'm going to say this here. Because the brother said, you know, what are we going to do? It's not necessarily a we factor. And I say that because what are you going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You know, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. What am I willing to do to push this issue forward? What am I willing to do to make sure change happens? You know, yeah, I'm a member of the NAACP. I'm a member of the Black Men's United. I'm a member of a lot of different social organizations that are involved with helping making the change in the community. That's all great. It's good to be a member. It's even better to be an active member in the very thing that you are part of, that you pay your dues to. That's even better to be an active member of the NAACP. And I hope your chapter is active. I hope you are part of an active chapter, not one of them chapters that cow down to the national NAACP. See, the national NAACP has sold us out. They sold us out. It's a wrap, okay? It's a wrap. They sold us out. The Urban League sold us out. There's a lot of organizations that once was really thriving, but they're sold us out for a check. It's that simple. Because these organizations should have been the very organization when this video came out, when it happens to us, these organizations are on our front line, okay? They supposed to have the ear of the community. But these organizations, man, look, they sold us out. Including some of our Masonic organizations sold us out. Now you can take that or let it alone. I'm talking across the board. They sold us out for the dollar. They don't want to ruffle feathers. Oh, well, you know, I have recognition, and if I say something, then I may upset those who recognize me. Man, if that's what it's going to take, if you're that comfortable, you need to go join them, mother. You need to go be with them. If you're that comfortable, you need to go be with them. Because as a Mason, you're supposed to be able to stand on your square. You're supposed to take your plumb line and stand upright. You're supposed to be level-headed. And definitely be cautious. Now, if you're a black man, a Mason, period, a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star, look, we need to be cautious wherever we go. You can no longer just think that because you riding through, you safe. You ain't safe. We haven't been safe in a very long time. None of us are safe, including myself. We are not safe. We've been too busy sleeping and eating. It's time to wake up, put down the chicken and wake up, put down the... Come on, it's just time for us to wake up. It's time for us to take care of ourselves. They're saying now, most of the coronaviruses that have come through are affecting the African American community. What's up with that? They're making the face of corona to look like you and me. I'm just saying. He said we sold ourselves out a long time ago. Some of us did. We sold ourselves for a dream and waking up to a damn nightmare. That's what we done. Oh yeah, I got a nice house over on such a block. And I'm the only one. Yeah, you know, I may work in corporate America and I'm the only one. Aren't you tired of being the only one? When you go to a meeting, you look around and it's just you. Are you tired of somebody stealing your ideas that you came up with and say, I appreciate it, and you don't get credit for nothing? When is enough enough? I mean, legitimately speaking. But I do understand this. I got this much. When we have tried to get away, when we have tried to build our own, when we have done those things to be successful in life, they come a running and follow us to bring us back. It's a fact. African Americans, black people have fled and went and built their own towns, their own communities. When we have done that, they came in and wanted to bring us back. I understand that. The Bible says resist Satan and Satan will flee. Sometimes we got to resist. We can no longer just go back because they want to pull us back in. I'm just saying, brothers of the craft and sisters of the order, we got to do better than what we're doing. We have the working tools. We have those things that we need. Hey, God dang it, doggone. I appreciate that gift. I really appreciate that gift. Thank you very much. I really do. MASH, I really appreciate that gift. Thank you very much. But I'm just saying. I'm saying this to my brothers of the craft, to my sisters of the order. Whether you like me or not, we're all being hunted and shot down. It's just true. But I need for us to understand where we're at together. We're in this thing together. I know some of y'all don't like me and you still consider me this and that. That's okay. But I tell you what, when you get in a situation dealing with them folks, man, they ain't asking you nothing more than show me your papers. Where your papers at? Why you out? If you're not an essential worker here in California and in San Diego, they pulling people over after 10 o'clock. Why you out? Why can't I be out? It's curfew. Like are we some kids or something? What is it that they're doing at night that they don't want us to see, number one? Number two is that why the government have to treat us like we some kids and we can't take care of ourselves? Something ain't right and this coffee is either too much cream or too much sugar. But something ain't right. And we need to wake up and understand that. I know some of us are still, we like what we like. You know, I got a good job. My bills are being paid. This doesn't really affect me. Oh, but it does. It really does. It really does. For too long, we have just sit and watched. Hadn't done anything, really. I mean, granted, family have sued, family has gotten paid, and families move on. Okay? But as a whole, these killings continue to happen. And they happen to us. No matter if we got on a suit, jogging down the street, just getting off of work, trying to catch a bus, trying to catch a cab, just trying to survive. These things continue to happen to us. And it's like the normal thing. We have to be cautious. We have to be aware of our surroundings. Go get your permit to carry. That's what you need to be doing. Use the very laws that they use to hinder us. We need to start using those very laws to strengthen us. And yes, I know that they're not going to be applied the same way. I know that. Greetings, can I help you?
Yes, my name is Bucky. I was calling, talking on the show.
Yeah, talk to me. What you got to say?
Well, I just want to just explain my feelings, how I feel with all those things that's going on.
Well, go for it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that I was talking. I'm watching on TV, but
turn your background down a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. I'm like you, Brother Hawkins. I'm a child of the '60s, and it's a shame that we keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And this thing that really bothers me, it's just like you're gonna run this guy, follow him, videotape it, and shoot him because you think that he's robbing somebody. I get, sometimes I wake up and being black in America, that's how I look at it. Being black in America is a hell of a thing. Because here it is in 2020, I have a 25-year-old son. And I have to tell my son today, be careful, or where you go, or watch yourself. Or if you get stopped, put your hands this way or that way. It really, really needs to stop. I don't know what they expect black folks to do. Do they think that they can just keep doing it, killing it, shooting it, just taking our lives like we don't mean nothing, and treat us any kind of way? You look at certain things on Facebook or on TV or whatever, when you see the police arresting or a black person versus arresting a white person, it's totally different. We get no respect.
Look, we get no
Go ahead,
respect
bro.
because our lives are not valued.
It's not valued at all.
It's not valued. And a lot of people say, well, you know, we need to stop killing ourselves. That's bullshit. I'm gonna call it what it is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply that. You can't put that. You can't put that on us.
No,
Okay?
no,
We
you
have
can't.
been
You can't.
we have been affected by this system for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay? We are so mixed up until if you look at us, the ghettos was a project. Hear me clearly.
Yes.
The ghettos was a project. The project was us. You put a lot of people together and let's see what they're going to do. Let's see how they're going to react. You take
right.
those simple things from them like grocery stores. Let's put it in the fast food restaurants. Okay, you take the simple things of life and you stack them on top of each other. Now I live in a 30-story building, but the damn elevator is out. I gotta walk 30 stories up to get to my room. Okay? Some real ghettos. I mean some places where nobody wants to live. See, it didn't start out like that. It didn't start out like that. But the project was us. Okay? The experiment was us. They've always been experimenting on us. But it just seems like we can't wake up.
You're right. It's just like, you know, I'm from New York. I'm from the city, and you know, the projects was a program where, you know, low income could start there and then leave there and buy a house or whatever the case may be. But I know people right now that's still in the same project for 30, 40 years. Mothers passed on, the daughter's taking the place over, or the son's taking the place over. It's a repeating cycle. You know, it's nothing in the community as far as black economic inclusion that looks like us. And if it is, you know, either they're trying to shut it down or they're so stringent on their regulations where they can't compete with the other ones that are in business. You see, and it's just a repeating cycle. You know, and what's going on now is nothing new. It's just, but it's sickening. It seems like the older I get, and I look at the young fellas where I'm at now. I live in Williamsburg, Virginia, right now, and it's just heartbreaking to see the community where you're at, and some of these things that go on with the young fellas and the young women that's around here, and like you said, who's speaking up? Who's really speaking up? I haven't heard anything from any of the churches like, well, let's do a march, or let's do, you know, I mean, what are you doing? Well, I don't get it.
I'm going to say this. If and when we get tired, we can't bring other people in. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't build relationships, but you can't bring them in. Because we don't know if they're for us or against us, and we got to deal with our own people for one thing. Let's be real.
You got that right.
Because what happens is we have spies among us that look like us. So when we get ready to really do something, we got to be careful of the very people that we have in the circle for one thing. So we have to be cautious when we move. All right? And you know, it's time out for marching. All right? Sometimes you got to change your strategy up. All right? Yeah. We have ministers. We have big-time ministers that make big-time money off of our tithes and our offerings. We do. It is time out to take our economics and our dollars. See, when you money is power. And I'm going to say this because you already know this. The reason most liquor stores and most of other stores are in our community because they know that's where the money is at.
That's right. That's right.
They know that. So they get their start on us. And then they move out and pass the store down to their grandson or their whoever. But we need to start buying the corner stores. Plain and simple. If we own the corner stores, then we know where the money is at. But we don't own the corner stores no more. We don't own the service stations anymore.
I talk to some young fellows. I say, hey, you ever see Rosewood? You know, and No, I ain't said, well, I said, watch the movie one night and come back and talk to me about what you feel about that or what you see. Even some of the brothers of the craft, you know, because a lot of them don't even pick it up. You know what I mean? They don't pick up what was going on in Rosewood, what started all that, and when the person that did what they did, what he did to get away, and it all ties into that thing. Sometimes you talk about what you're clandestine, and I take my obligation, that type thing, and when how the person reached out and leaned on his obligation and helped that person, but he didn't give a damn about what was going down. You know. I tell you, I don't know.
The process is the answer to our solution. I mean, the solution to our dilemma. We're the answer. If you really want to know the truth, we are the answer. Now, when we begin to act on the things that we know that are true, then our situation is going to change. Right now, we're not acting on the things that are true. Everybody want to speak for the black man, like if we really need. Let me. I don't want to contradict myself, but what I want to say is, everybody think that we should have a leader, singular.
Yeah, we all are leaders. We all are leaders.
That's what I'm saying. We're all leaders. We all have the opportunity to use this thing we call the internet and Facebook. Use it to speak up, to say something. Don't just sit idly by. No, nobody wants to lose their job right now, including me. I'm just going to be honest. But I'm not going to just sit down and say, well, I'm not going to say nothing. No. Go ahead.
If you're not saying nothing wrong, you know, you should not be fearful of what you're saying. We all have feelings.
That's true. Here's the thing, though.
America is something, huh?
Here's the thing. You're absolutely right. We shouldn't be fearful. However, we are scared to death.
Yes.
We are. I mean, look. All our lives, being on this in this country, all our lives, we have been dominated like somebody's bitch. Let me just put it to you like that. Okay?
I'm with you.
All of our lives we've been like that. But see, pretty soon, the prostitution, that female, she gets tired of that pimp slapping on her.
Yeah.
And she catches him when he sleeps, because the pimp does sleep. But all of our lives we've been pimped. So I'm just wondering when the prostitution, when that female gonna say, or when that male gonna say, I'm gonna wait till you sleep. I'm gonna catch you slipping. But see, I look at the other side too now. We got some gatekeepers. We got those who are successful, and they don't want to see you uprise. They don't want to see you wake up. Because you messing with their money now, see? So they have to talk to you and say, brother, you know, that's not the way. Violence don't solve anything. Shit. Let me tell you what violence solved. Violence took Africans out of the continent of Africa and brought them to the United States. That's what violence did. Violence burned down Wall Street and left a whole lot of people homeless. That's what violence did. Violence have put a lot of black men in jail, and they supposed to be innocent. That's what violence have done. Violence have done a lot of things to people. So don't tell me that violence doesn't prove anything. Violence got a lot of us scared. I mean,
that is true.
And people say, well, you shouldn't be talking like that. You're a Mason. You should be talking about, you know, justice, and you should just, you know what? I'm a human being also.
Yes, and you got feelings. That's right.
You know?
And you got kids. And you know, you just think about that.
Absolutely. We as Masons and Eastern Stars, if we would just take a moment and breathe and realize who we are and how we affect our community, it's a wrap. Let me tell you how it works. Let me tell you how it works, legitimately speaking. If, and this is a big if Black Masonry wish to want to wake up, I'm talking about legitimately wake up, and we know who we are, and if we begin to talk to each other, not at each other, and realize the financial or the money that we have collectively, and what we can do collectively, we'll shake it up.
Yeah.
We would. But you know, and I don't like to put stuff in the atmosphere, but what I see is that we are afraid to shake it up. I see that. I don't want to sit at the table with you because I consider you this way, because if I sit at the table with you, then I can't sit at the table with Mr. Johnson. Well, hell, Mr. Johnson ain't living in your community. More than likely, Mr. Johnson is living north of you. You live in south. Have you ever noticed that most places you go in the United States, all of your black people are living in the south? South Houston. Okay? Canyonland in Houston. The 5th Ward. You've heard of these places. Go down to New Orleans, they're in the 5th Ward. South Louisiana, Fayetteville. Every place you go in the cities, most of your black people are living in the south of the city. Martin Luther King Boulevard is tore up and raggedy. Come on now. I'm just saying. You know, South Chicago, West Side, you know, come on. We ain't living in North Chicago where that money at. If that's where you at in Chicago, you living in Inglewood, a lot of us. Come on. I'm just saying.
I don't know what we got. I know that we need to come together with this. Stop this. Like, I can't talk to you. I get that conversation and I get so discouraged. Like, oh my God, man. You know what I say? I say, first of all, as black men, first of all, black woman, just put that on the line. We black. And you mean to tell me we can't talk? Now, on top of that, you may be who you are, I'm who I am, and you say that you can't talk to me? I don't get it. I just tell you, you mixed up. Go back and read your EA.
Absolutely.
You don't get it.
And I'm reading some of the comments, but I'm reading what my administrator put up there, and Brother Eric Collins, he says, the common sense to tell our sons and daughters to go to school, to own a business, but to go to school, we are going in this direction because we don't raise our family. And I'm going to agree with him to a point. The point is that go ahead, what you was gonna say?
I could agree to a point, but you can't just categorize. You can't put everybody in the basket and say that.
You can't, and that's where I'm at. See, because here's what I do know as a fact: private schools and public schools don't teach the same. Let me say this: private schools and public schools don't teach the same. If you are a person of wealth, your kid, when he goes to school, and I'm talking about what I know, not somebody told me.
Yeah.
He's learning about business, how to own, create businesses. That's what he's learning. You can talk about reading, mathematics, algebra, all you want to. He ain't getting it. Let me tell you how I know. I was talking to a doctor friend of mine.
Yeah.
Somebody that looked like me.
Yeah.
And he told me, oh no, my child is going to a very private school. And he says the education that he's getting, is nothing like public education. Period. And I understood that. But we need to understand that. And while our kids are out of... Go ahead. What you going to say?
We don't get it because, you know what comes through my mind sometimes? Sometimes, you go to these churches and churches. Well, come to Bible study on Bible school, and then come to Bible study on this particular day. And I'm like, well, have you ever had a class on how to start your own business? I don't get that. I mean, you at one point the church was the heartbeat of the community. I don't give a darn if it was the number rider, the juke joint owner, or even the hooker. She went to church on Sunday, but everything in the community was discussed there in church. What happened?
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened from my point of view. What happened is that the church got big. The church became a business. Okay, the church lost its moral fiber. Or may I say the moral compass.
Yes.
And when the church lost its moral compass, it lost its credibility. So no, the preacher can't necessarily walk in the community like he used to and tell somebody, come on, brother, come to church, I got something for you. He can't necessarily do that now because he on television. So he needs your mamas and daddies and aunties to pay their tithes and send in that gift to keep his television program going, because I need that $6 million plane. And I need that so I can go and fly and preach the gospel somewhere else. But I am not giving nothing back to the very people that gives to me. You know? And like they like, the scripture they like to use, bring all of the wealth into the storehouse to run it, you know.
Yeah.
Come on now, let me tell you something. And I'm going to crack some of y'all up. And this is the God honest truth. I am an ordained elder.
Okay.
In the Presbyterian church. Presbyterian church. Predominantly white church. Yeah, I said that. I am. And I watched them folks. All them folks got money. Long money. So when I sit and I watch, I'm like, oh my goodness. You know? So I watch how church do business. Okay? And we try to use that. And when I say we, I'm talking about Baptist missionary. So I'm talking about the church. We try to use that like they use it. Some of us are pretty good at it. Most are not. Now the minister may be living well, but is the congregation living well? So I've seen it. But what I'm saying on a Masonic point of view, on the Masonic tip, is that we're going to have to start using us. We can't be afraid of us.
Well, we're supposed to be the ones that make the change.
Supposed
we're the ones that
to
are
be.
supposed to speak. Yes.
Supposed to be.
You know what I've seen now. It's all about a position. I'm gonna get that position. I want that position. Instead of saying, is that person qualified? Is he worthy of that position? You know, or we come on to the meeting here, come on to the session here, or the elections. We gonna have the whole lodge there. Y'all vote this way. You know, come on. That ain't the way it's supposed to be.
I would hope. I would honestly hope that soon and very soon, before I close my eyes, I would hope that a Grand Master from the ancient free and accepted side, from the modern free, from the international, from PHO, from PHA would actually be at a table and say, okay, here's the plan. I'm not asking you to join me and come to my lodge meeting. No, I'm not asking for that. But what I'm asking for is for us to show the young man, the young woman, how to become better. And when I say better, I'm talking all the way around. I'm talking financially. I'm talking morally. I'm talking all the way around. I'm not saying that we don't have no messed up people in the organization. I'm just saying that when the leaders come together to show what leaders should look like, members will follow. I mean, they will give their look. If a leader, be it a grandmaster or a grand matron, if they're doing right by the organization is going to do right by them. And when I say right by them, they're going to flourish.
Yes.
You know, they're going to treat people with due respect. Because wherever you go, I don't care what jurisdiction you're in, if you're wearing the compass and square, the people in the community see you as one. That's a fact.
That's right.
You know? And when we don't understand that yet. And
no,
then when
not at all.
And then when a brother becomes a Mason, he be like, this is some jacked up stuff. You mean to tell me I can't talk to him because of what? I can't talk to her because of what? I didn't join this organization because of that.
Stupidest thing I ever heard of, you know.
The community have a better objective than us. Well, because they see us as one. They see us as a legitimate force. That's what the community sees. But we don't act on that.
No. Because we know the internal workings of all of them and how they think and how they feel about us and how we try, you know, because I'm AF and AM, but I always reach my hand. Even some of the white, but I reach my hand out because I'm a Mason first in my heart. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not about who you, are you Prince or you Scottish friend, or you PHO, or international. Bro, if I meet you, I meet you. I love you, my brother. I'm my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's keeper. But when all that other nonsense come in, I'm like, man, please. I can't do it.
Well, I don't have long to be on.
Yes, bro. Yeah, bro.
But as always, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that somebody will get something from this and be able to tear down the wall, or tear down a bridge and build from there, because we have allowed people to come into our circle and cause us to have this harmony. And it says that harmony being the strength of all society, more special of ours. How can you say that and you don't distribute harmony? How can you say that when you don't have harmony in your life? If you don't have harmony in your life, how can you say that? How can you say the sun at its meridian, the height and the glory, the beauty of the day, so stand? How can you say these things when you don't distribute these things? When you're not the example of these things? How can you say that when you're not even capable of standing on the square? How can you say that? Are we still in 1920 or 2020? Because that's what it seems like to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it seemed like the 20s to me.
You know, I mean, too many of us have been gunned down, beat up. Look, and here's the funny thing. Even our own black police officers, and I know quite a few of them, when they take off their uniform, they scared to death.
Yes.
They terrified.
You know what I think? This is how I think. I say, this is a shame how you keep doing these things. You keep doing these things to blacks and just doing wrong, and then somebody's going to hurt an officer. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that good officer that we all respect, that we know in the community.
Yep.
It's not going to be the one that's doing all that nonsense.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's bad. Where I'm at now, where I come from in New York, we had, they got your bad police, but you had community police. You knew some of the officers in the area. You don't know these officers that ride through. Sometimes they ride through they just ride through. You don't see them. Some of you know, some of them you don't know. And then some of them don't even know how to deal with people.
Look. Most of the police officers that are in our community don't look like us. Let's just be honest. So when we get a little riled up,
You can.
They hype now because they don't understand why you upset. See, and that's what gets me a lot of time. People who police the black community don't live in the black community.
Have no clue.
Have no clue. It is very important. And I pray that, and I know that there are some Masons who are police officers. They're black.
Yes,
it is very important that black police officers try and get into a community and deal with people that look like us to be able to calm us down. Now, I'm not saying that's going to always be the fact, because it is what it is. It's a dangerous job being a police officer. It's a dangerous job dealing with the community, because you don't know how people are going to react. You know, because people are stressed. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. The economy sucks. That's why I say that, because in 1920 they was dealing with the flu, the black flu. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it was. And here we are, 2020, dealing with the coronavirus. At the same time, in the 20s, they was coming out of World War I, getting ready a few years later to go into World War II, right before the Great Depression. And it seems to me, based on what I've read in regards to 1920, we're right at the doorstep knocking on the damn door. The same thing. Now we are the mothers and fathers, the sisters and brothers. The only thing that is different, in most places in the United States, we don't have our own community no more. See, we had our own community then. Because we were segregated.
Segregated, yeah, that's right.
But now, since we are so-called can live anywhere, we're not as segregated, but the same shit is still popping off. I'm just going to be real. That's just what it is.
Same shit is popping off.
The same thing is popping off. And I guarantee you this. We still getting harmed. If you're living in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Carolinas, including California, Santee, baby. Let me just put it out there. They still hanging us. They still finding us hung from trees. This thing ain't changed. But it seems that we can't wake up and see it. And all I want us to do is just wake up and understand.
Yeah. We got to. You try not to incite things, inflate things, but you just want to kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. You mean to tell me? Just imagine if these guys get acquitted. You sit back and you're like, oh my God. I used the terminology when I saw that video. I said, now who you gonna believe? This video or your lying eyes?
and check this out. Somebody posted something that was very interesting. Buck Lewis said that lady in Texas, this black judge fined her. She gets a small business loan for $18,000. She get a small business loan, right? The black judge puts her in jail. His jail sentence gets overturned. Now she's free because she broke the law. How many times that happens for us? I'm just saying. I seen that on TV, as a matter of fact.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, she got arrested. The black judge said, look, and she wouldn't apologize. That's the thing. She wouldn't even apologize. Look, we got to realize that these people, and when I say these people, it's clear to say I'm not putting all white people in the same boat. I can't do that.
Oh no.
But what I'm saying, and I can't put all black people in the same boat. But when I say these people, I'm talking about a system. Okay? And if these people really cared about us, they will fight against this very system that holds us down.
Yes.
So don't say, well, he's spewing hate. He hates. No, it's not about hate. It's about humanity.
Uh-huh.
It's about justice. We know that if I get caught with crack, I'm getting more sentence than the guy who gets caught with the cocaine, and the cocaine gets more pure.
You
All
can't
I'm
make
saying,
one without the other.
go ahead, say what?
I said you can't make one without the other.
Absolutely. So all I'm saying is equal justice under the law. Until we get equal justice under the law, until things are done right, we're going to always be at this doorstep.
Uh-huh.
But I would say this. The generation that's coming behind us, that's going to be a bad generation.
Yeah.
And when I say a bad generation, I'm clearly saying that as a father, I gave my kids everything I didn't have.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember opening the refrigerator door and there was nothing but water.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember those days. I remember when the buttermilk man used to come, or they called him the milkman, to bring the gallon of buttermilk, I remember standing in the line getting cheese, and it was the cheese and something else, man. That's some good damn cheese, too. It was thick block of cheese, But I'm just saying, I remember those times. When the food stamp came, oh, yes, we gonna eat. Okay? So, I remember those times. All I'm saying is that my kids don't have an idea. My kids, they really don't.
They don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue of the struggle. But I have to tell them, I have to remind them. I said, look, man, when I came to California and stayed with my brother, I didn't have 2 quarters to rub together. Okay? It took me some time to get where I'm at. And now as a father, I should be able to assist and aid you in getting where you at. See, somebody has to break the cycle, as you said earlier. Somebody got to break this cycle.
Yes.
And we as fathers, we as mothers have to break the cycle. We can no longer just depend on, even though we're not the majority of people that are on welfare and food stamps. We're not the majority. I got it.
Not at all.
But mothers, you can't keep your kids away from your father. I don't care. You can hate their guts. Stop keeping your kids away from your father, sisters.
Stop it, right?
Okay? And dads, support your kids. I know, yeah, she taking you to the bank. She in your pocket. Oh, she in your pocket. Bruh, I don't necessarily agree with that. But that's your child. That's your blood. Yeah, you have to deal with this bullshit. Sisters, you have to deal with it. But these kids didn't ask you to be here. And I know I didn't ask you to be here, but I'm here. Okay?
That's right.
Now I have to make it better for my kids. And I have to definitely make it better for my grandkids. So along the line, we have to take those things that we have, the plumb, the level, the square, and apply them to our lives daily. You have to apply it.
That's right. It is. It definitely is a play. I'll tell you. I go back to, every day I just think about my son. He's a good young man. He's working. He does HVAC. He does HVAC work. He's doing well. He's going to be a father. And I'm saying, man, I don't know what I would have done if that had been my son.
Well, look,
I don't think no.
I've said this, and I'm not going to say it publicly, but those who really know me, who've been in my circle, I've said what I would do, and I meant what I said, because too many times we're bought off. Because you're going to give me a lawsuit, you're going to give me $2.5 million and be quiet. I'm going to sign the paperwork to say after this I never speak about this issue again. I won't file any more complaints. The city is going to pay me that $2.5 million, and I'm going to go on my happy way. But when I get that $2.5 million, what am I going to do with it? My son is gone, and I got $2.5 million. Am I going to build a legal defense fund so when this happens to somebody else, they have a place to go to help them finance and to sue? Or am I going to take my $2.5 million and go away and say, cool, I'm good, I'm not going to say nothing else? See, when we hit them in the pockets and we go off and don't do nothing but it's okay. It's just okay. We need to hit them in the pocket and take that money and then build something with that money. So when the time comes again, and it will come again, we could go at them financially. See, as you keep hitting people in the pocket, shit will change. It's just that simple. You keep hitting somebody in the pocket, things will change. This is why it's important for us to understand economics. And we as Freemasons has not understood that. We haven't. Plain and simple. Economically, the black Freemasons, economically, we some bad boys. But we have yet been able to pull those resources together because we're afraid.
Together.
You may take some of my members.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, really. I can't talk to you. I was told I couldn't. Who told you that? But this is what we have to deal with. So the question remains, 1920 versus 2020.
What has changed? Nothing.
What has really changed? Really, legitimately speaking, what has really changed? Just the other day, a police officer goes to a house, called himself was going to arrest somebody, and was at the wrong damn house and had a white mob behind him. At the wrong house. I'm just saying. At the wrong house. And I'm
behind him.
Say what now?
And you said a white mob was behind him.
Yes. Because the kid, I think the black kid that they was looking for was dating somebody in the community. Okay? That didn't look like him. And they wanted to do something about it. So they was going looking for him. But they went to the wrong house. He was no longer living there. He hadn't been there in 18 months. You know?
Well, we gotta wake up.
Well, we know the answer. That's the thing. We know the answer. We gotta act on the answer. We gotta act on the answer. Until we do that, we'll have plenty of more videos of the black man being killed. We'll have plenty of videos showing him where he was walking down the street. Until we understand that. Some of us do, some of us don't.
Did you hear Trump today? Well, we don't know what happened before the video, and we don't know what happened after, what led up to it. I'm like, this dude here, boy.
Wait a minute, you read what comment?
Trump. You heard what Trump said today?
Oh, well, that's something different.
That's something.
So I would hope that we will be able somehow to use our communication skills, because somebody said something about they don't have communication skills, so therefore Randolph Taylor said because they don't have communication skills, they are taught to be aggressive toward us. Well, something ain't right with that picture, brother, because they're not aggressive towards anybody else.
That's right.
But us. You know?
You can see it. You know, you see him stopping one person, they treat him one differently. I'm like, well, damn, this is fight the police, man. Imagine if that was a black guy, kid or black man. They'd have been unshot him.
Man, look. You know when that brother testified in regards to that tape dealing with the Bethlehem family out of Texas, when that white police officer shot that brother in his house?
Yes.
And then he showed up dead. About a week later, he got killed.
Yes.
You ain't heard nothing else about that, have you?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
I'm just saying. Until we realize the game that's being played, and there's one being played, some of us understand it. Some of us see it. But when you don't have the financial backing to do the things that are need to be done, then this is where we're going to be at. I'm not saying that we don't have people that don't have the financial backing. I'm just saying that
Yes.
until they use it, ain't nothing going to happen.
Yeah, because it's like you said, that so many of them are so afraid of, we shouldn't rock the boat. It ain't about rocking the boat. The damn boat has been turned over. So, I mean, it's about awareness, making people aware.
Yeah. So, we're going to have to do something, bruh. I mean, in this show tonight, I said some few choice words, and if I offended anybody, you've heard these words before. It ain't nothing new to you. The fact of the matter is it just comes a time like we was in high school. You draw the line in the sand and say, okay, who's brave enough to step across this line or tip that stick off my shoulders?
Yeah.
It just comes a time when you say, okay, all right. It legitimately speaking, and we have to take the very society for which we are part of and use it to benefit our community. And people often wonder, well, how can you do that? How can you take Freemasonry and use it to benefit your community? White Masons do it all the time. It ain't rocket science.
No, it's not.
So we need to be able to take the very thing, this thing we call Freemasonry, that comes from the continent of Africa, owned outright by our ancestors, and use it for us, to build us up.
Yeah.
To raise up the next King Solomon. That's what we have to do with this.
Yes.
Have to stop playing checkers and start playing chess.
Yeah.
So that's about it for tonight, my brother. I appreciate you calling in. I'm just really kind of
I just
hard up, bro.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. Like I've said some words on my Facebook page because I was pissed off, and I said some choice words, and hey, you heard them before, just like you said, you heard them before. But you feel it when you're a caring person and you love people and you see things that are happening like this. You can't help but to feel what you feel.
That's true.
The injustice.
And I'm gonna say this, and Oxy Palm said, I'm just a believer that if you want, he said, if you want to power, I think he said, if you want the power from trampling you, you must assume all position of physical power. Then everything else falls in line behind that. And I agree with that. I can see that point.
Yes.
I can see that point. So, before we leave tonight, and I'm going to quote something that Buck Lewis says, the black community needs a real conversation. The Black Masons need a real conversation. You can't be scared of the very people that live in your community that are a part of these Grand Lodges and OES chapters. You can't be afraid of them people. We need to have a real conversation. PHO, PHA, Modern Free International, John G. Jones, whatever we need to have a real conversation. You can't be afraid. You can't be scared anymore. Plain and simple. You can't be a punk. You can't be afraid. It's just that simple. You got anything you want to say before we close out tonight, brother?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to speak my mind, and you'll be hearing from me again. I watch your show all the time, and I really, really enjoy it. It's real enlightening to me, and it helps me. And I want to say thank you, my brother.
Well, I appreciate you. And for those who came on tonight, I want to say thank you. And for those who made a donation, I want to say thank you. This just furthers the cause. Let me tell you, this show is not like any other show. My Grandmaster, I asked him would he mind coming on and speaking on this very topic. And he told me he wouldn't be polite. And I guess I'm polite. And I didn't want him coming on being really angered. You know, sometimes you have to calm that anger down. You know, and he wasn't ready for that. And I spoke with him last night, the night before last, and he was like, Brother Hawkins, if I came on that show, it's not going to be pretty. You know, so we try to inspire brothers of the craft and sisters of the order to do better. We try to inspire them to go beyond the mere ritual and to really put the thing in practice. We try to inspire people to look at this thing we call Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star from a different perspective. I only hope and pray that we begin to do that. And don't sit idly by and allow people to come put their foot on our neck. We got to get their foot off our necks. We do.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody tells you not to speak to somebody that looks like you, that lives in your community, anytime somebody tells you the reason you don't speak to them is because they're not this or that, you need to check that person.
Yeah.
Okay? Hell, we all dying. That's the thing. We all dying in these streets. So what's up?
Talk to one another.
What's up? So I'm going to go. I hope that everybody gets something out of this. And man, 1920 versus 2020, they damn look like twins. Jeez.
Brother Hawkins, you have a good evening now, okay?
You do the same, my brother. And to those of you who are on right now, as the brother from Virginia is getting ready to hang up, I just want to say thank you for tuning in tonight. And remember, you're relevant. The Black Masonry and the community, you are relevant, brother. We got to start using this thing. Okay? Don't just sit on it. Use it. Okay? We got to start opening doors and man. Look, I got to go, man. Sisters, I love you. You're still fairest among thousands. Altogether lovely. To the brothers of the craft, continue to be the best Mason you can be. Continue to be the example of how a Mason should carry himself and act accordingly. Peace, be well, and whatever you do, always stay out the bushes and keep your light on. The higher you climb, the clearer the vision. I'm out.